In a small, quiet village, surrounded by soft green hills and sparkling streams, there lived a kind-hearted old man named Elias. His little wooden cabin sat at the edge of the village, where tall trees whispered with the wind and colorful flowers danced in the sunlight. Birds often came to perch on his windows, singing cheerful songs that made everyone smile. The smell of fresh bread, pies, and herbal teas always floated from his warm little kitchen, welcoming anyone who passed by. Elias was loved by everyone in the village, not because he had wealth or power, but because of the kindness he carried in his heart. He had two unusual companions who never left his side. Whisper, a clever gray cat with eyes that seemed to understand everything, and Loom, a tiny golden canary whose chirps sounded like music. Whisper would follow Elias, silently, always alert, while Loom fluttered around singing little tunes and repeating Elias's gentle sayings. Kindness is a seed, planted everywhere. Happiness grows when shared. Every day Elias lived simply but fully. He tended to his vegetable garden, where rows of carrots, cabbages, and bright green herbs grew. He baked bread that smelled like sunshine, pies that reminded children of happy summers, and herbal teas that soothed coughs and worries alike. Even though his hands were lined with age and his back bent from years of work, Elias spent his days helping others. When villagers asked why he gave so much of himself, he would smile gently and say, "Kindness is a treasure that never runs out." One harsh winter came, colder than any the villagers had ever seen. Snow covered the roads, and food grew scarce. Families stayed indoors, too tired or too proud to ask for help. The wind howled through empty streets, and many felt alone and afraid. But Elias's cabin never closed its door. Every evening someone new would arrive, seeking warmth, food, or simply a comforting smile. First came a small boy named Leo. He was shivering, his little feet wet from the snow. Elias welcomed him with open arms and handed him a warm blanket. He gave him a bowl of soup, and for the first time in days, Leo felt safe. Whisper rubbed against his leg, purring softly, while Loom sang a cheerful tune that made him giggle. Next came an exhausted mother named Mara. Her hands were red and cracked from gathering firewood and cooking in the cold. She was tired and worried for her children. Elias helped her rest by the fire, shared a hot meal, and listened patiently to her worries. He didn't just give her warmth for the body, but for the soul. Every night people came. An old man named Thomas, who had lost his family, came for companionship. A young girl, cold and scared, came seeking safety. Elias welcomed all, giving what he could and offering words of hope. Slowly, the villagers began to realize that kindness is stronger than fear. And even in the darkest winter, warmth can be found not just in fire, but in hearts that care. One day, a little girl named Lila arrived at the cabin door. She had nowhere to go and was trembling from the cold and fear. Elias knelt down, smiling warmly, and said, "You are safe here, child. You are never alone." Lila stepped inside, her eyes wide with wonder at the cozy cabin. She helped feed Whisper, laughed at Loom's cheerful chirps, and slowly her fear melted away. She realized that the cabin was not just a place, but a home filled with love, hope, and comfort. Elias's acts of kindness did more than fill empty stomachs. They healed broken hearts, lifted spirits, and reminded everyone that even a small gesture can create a ripple of happiness. People in the village began to help one another too. They shared food, offered warm clothes, and gave smiles to those who felt alone. Soon the village was no longer just surviving the harsh winter. It was thriving with care, love, and connection. This story teaches us something very simple but powerful. Kindness is contagious. A warm smile, a helping hand, or a gentle word can change someone's entire day. And just like Elias, we can all plant seeds of happiness that grow into something bigger than we ever imagined. Let's remember some words from this story. Tucked, placed safely or snugly in a place. Example, his cabin was tucked between the hills, rewritten. His little wooden home sat safely among the green hills, whispering, making a soft sound like gentle wind. Example: the trees were whispering in the wind. Rewritten, the trees rustled softly as if sharing secrets, shivering, shaking slightly from cold or fear. Example: the boy was shivering in the doorway. Rewritten, the boy trembled as he stood at the door. Scarce, hard to find, or not enough. Example: food grew scarce in winter. Rewritten, food became hard to find during the cold months. Exhausted, extremely tired. Example: the mother was exhausted from work. Rewritten, the mother felt very tired and weary from her daily tasks. Beacon, a source of light or hope. Example: the lighthouse was a beacon for sailors. Rewritten, Elias's cabin was a beacon of warmth and hope for the villagers. Kindness, patience, and love are treasures that never fade. Just like Elias, we can all make a difference in the lives of others. Every small act of care is a spark of hope, and when shared, it can brighten the darkest days. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more tales full of life lessons and heartwarming moments, make sure to subscribe to Moral Echo Tales. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a story that warms your heart and teaches your soul.